Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're going to be covering 10 things you can do before Minecraft 1.21 releases to prepare for the update, as it is scheduled to release on June 13th, which is just under 2 weeks. Now we're going to jump straight into it, and the first one is one that is kind of self-explanatory, and that is prune your world. If your world was created before 1.21, I would definitely recommend pruning your world. If you don't know what pruning means, it basically means deleting chunks you haven't built in or explored that much. Now the reason that this is really good to do is because trial chambers, the main part of the update, you can only find them in chunks that you haven't loaded. Now if your world is brand new and you make it after 1.21 releases or in 1.21 snapshots, then you should be good. But if your world was made like in 1.16 or anything up to 1.19 or 1.20, you might have to travel quite far to find trial chambers, so pruning your world or deleting chunks makes it so you wouldn't have to explore as far. So I'm going to show a quick tutorial on how to prune a world. I'm not going to go into too much detail and depth. It's something that you can keep very simple just for pruning a world for a new update. So I've opened up a random world. This is a series I had very long ago. We have a sniffer build right here. This was at the time the sniffer was being added to the game. But really in this world, I only built in this area. So I could delete all chunks around this. But you wouldn't really want to do that for quite a few reasons. The most obvious one is there could then be chunks of your world that don't match up with each other, where the seed might have changed, structures have been placed, and maybe the biomes might have been adjusted here and there. Now I will have the download link to MCA Selector in the comments or in the description so you can download it. But we are going to go to filter chunks. And what we are basically doing here is we are filtering what chunks we want to delete. So we want to go inhibited time, which this means if you have been inside of that chunk. And currently it's less than 5 minutes. Now I think 5 minutes is a reasonable time because, for example, these chunks in the center here that we have built in, we would have loaded them for way longer than 5 minutes. But if we was just flying with an elytra over a chunk, or we was going to loot an ancient city, for example, you wouldn't be there for that long. But I'm going to change this to 3 minutes just to be safe, because if we went somewhere, built a few blocks and then moved out very quickly, we want to make sure them chunks are not deleted. So now we are going to click OK, and you can see that is selecting all the chunks. Anything that is not selected, so anything that is not in orange, we have loaded for more than 3 minutes. So you can see this area in the very center here has been loaded for more than 3 minutes, but that's obvious because we built here and we did AFK here a lot. And then if we explore out, there are also areas like this which have also been selected and been loaded for longer than 3 minutes. And I think that's mainly because we have probably waited there for a reasonable amount of time for maybe a mob to grow up or something like that. So I know inside this world that in these areas I didn't build anything I care about. So I'm going to select all of these, which you can do just by clicking and dragging. You can deselect also by right clicking, and selecting is left clicking. I also can select these two because I don't think I built anything in them chunks. Also these two, that one right there, and I think I did build something up here, so we are not gonna select that. I didn't build nothing in this area, I don't think. And with that being said, I think that's everything we want to save. This area is the main area because that's where our main base is and all things like that. So now what I want to do is I want to go to selection, delete selected chunks. Now once again, once I click this button, they are gone for good unless you make a backup. Now you can see the only chunks that are loaded in the world are the ones that I selected. Now the second thing we're going to cover, just because it's a small minor thing, inside of 1.21 they've added 20 new painting variants. These painting variants are gotten just from randomly placing the normal painting with the correct size. So if we was to place this painting down a few times, you can see it will randomly give us some of the new paintings and some of the old ones depending on if we have the right size or not. If paintings is something you want to mess with once this update releases, I would recommend making some kind of wood farm. Probably a bamboo farm would probably be the best way, and then some kind of wool farm, as then you can make a load of paintings as soon as the update drops and decorate your house or your builds with the new painting variants. Now another main feature inside of Minecraft 1.21 is the crafter. Now, this part is going to be two different things, as the crafter is not that cheap to craft. If we quickly just grab a crafting table, the crafter crafting recipe is 5 iron, a crafting table, a dropper, and 2 redstone. So you are going to want to basically farm all these resources if you plan to use a lot of these in builds. Iron farm is pretty simple. You can use iron golems and villagers. Crafting table is just a wood farm, so if you build the painting farm, then you can just use some spare wood to make the crafting tables. Dropper is literally just cobblestone and redstone. Now, the second part of this is a witch farm. If I was to kill this witch, it has a 100% chance to drop between 4 and 8 redstone. So right there, we got 8. If I kill another one, let's quickly just see. You can see that every time we are getting redstone. And this was a change to make redstone more reliable. So witches can come in 2 different types of farms. Raid farms, which are way more complicated. And they have also been slightly nerfed with the ominous bottle inside of 121. But you can also use the witch hut, which spawns in swamps, to build a witch farm. That'll probably get you enough redstone to build enough crafters. Now, the next 2 things inside of this update is the new copper block variants. This comes with copper doors, trapdoors, copper bulbs, and copper grates. And then also chiseled copper. But you'd also have the new tough variants as well. And if these are some blocks you want to build with, you could do 2 things. You could wait for 121 to release and go and mine out a trial chamber. Or you can collect a load of copper inside of the game now, as these blocks can be crafted. Same with tough. Tough spawns inside of deep slate layers, so you can just go and mine a load of these blocks and have them ready. Now, the recipes are pretty simple. Copper grate is just 4 copper blocks. Cut copper has been in the game for quite some time. The copper bulb is the more expensive thing out of the lot, because that requires some redstone once again, so your witch farm would become useful right here. And also a blaze rod. Now, the copper bulb is crafted like so. So these are a little bit more expensive, but you do get 4. So if you plan to use a lot of copper bulbs, then you would probably want to build yourself a blaze farm. Although you can get these from the trial chambers as well. Now, next items inside this update, you can't really prepare for. The only way I can suggest preparing for the music discs, the wind charges, breeze rods, the mace, and the heavy core. This does also include the banner patterns, the pottery sherds, and the smithing templates, is just gear up. Make sure you have decent armor, decent tools, and decent enchantments. So when you go into the trial chamber to try and get all of these items, you are less likely to die, as these are all gotten from the trial chambers, meaning that you need 1.21 enabled to get any of these items. Now, the next thing is once again trial chamber related, and that is there is a trial explorer map inside the game that can be gotten from a cartographer villager. So I would recommend just maybe having a villager breeder or having a load of villagers ready, so as soon as the update drops, you can then get them to have the cartography profession, and then you can trade with them. So I've just traded with this cartographer, and it's on the 3rd level that you can get the trial explorer map, and it costs some emeralds and then 1 singular compass. Now, that is 6 ways you can prepare for Minecraft 1.21. Now, I didn't showcase how to build any of the farms, just because a lot of the farms you need to prepare for 121 are quite simple. Wool farm, you just get a sheep with a dispenser. Wood farm, just set up a simple bamboo farm using pistons and observers. The most complicated one is probably the witch farm. They have been around for so long, and I'm not too sure how raid farms work as of 121. They changed how bad omen is gotten with the ominous bottle. Before, you'd have to just kill a captain. Now you have to kill a captain and then drink the bottle. That's something I'm not too sure about. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, do leave a like and subscribe. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.